Hello, I'm Roger Bisbee from the Skill Builder channel, and I'm back here in London doing another one of my walkabouts and talking about the building of London. In this video I want to talk specifically about the lighting of London. Before there was electricity, before there was gas, there were torches. You know, there were torches made up of all different kinds of things, and there were also oil lamps. It was a gloomy city for sure. Those oil lamps, those torches couldn't really offer very much light to anybody. Eventually gas lights became very much the thing. If you've got a gas cooker at home and you light it and you turn the lights off and you look just how much light you get out of a gas cooker, it's not very much at all. And what really made the difference to gas lights was when somebody invented the mantle, and the idea of that is that it forms a kind of catalyst for the gas to burn around and it produces a huge amount more light. Now, the first public street lighting by gas was here in Pall Mall, and this was done in 1807 when Fred Windsor, an engineer, built a whole line of gas lights all the way down here to celebrate the birthday of King George III. Obviously Fred Windsor was hoping to get a knighthood out of that. Sadly he didn't. Nobody gives knighthoods to gas engineers. Each one was fed with gas in pipes which were actually made from recycled barrels of obsolete muskets. And from that day on, steel gas pipe is referred to in the trade as barrel. Black iron barrel, that's what we say. In 1812, the London and Westminster Gaslight and Coke Company was formed. Now, this is coke as in coal, not the stuff that you put up your nose. So, this was the world's first gas company. And 2 years later, Westminster Bridge was lit up in all its glory by gaslights, as it still is today. So if you look now at the old lights that are left in London, you may think that they've all been converted to electricity. But in actual fact, these are working gas lights. They've got a little permanent pilot light on them. Mainly, they're just as they were when they were put here back in the early 1800s. At one point, they were lit by guys who went round with a light and just lifted the glass and lit the lamp. Then they got this idea of having a little clockwork mechanism. They wind up every sort of 14 days or whatever, and it's time for these lights to come on. 1,300 gas lights, mostly in the city of Westminster. They are maintained by a team of 4 guys whose job it is to go round at night time, wind up the clocks. They have ladders strategically placed around the city, chained up, so they actually do their travelling between the lights on electric scooters. So they can unchain the ladder and do about 10 or 15 of these gas lights and then chain the ladder back up and then nip away on their scooter to the next bit. Very dedicated little team. They seem to love their job. You can see that these lights have got different shapes of glass. That one seems to be a curved glass that they've got in there. But as we go down, there'll be others with straight pieces of glass. And if the glass is damaged at all, then that is the job of the lamp maintenance team to replace that piece of glass, cut a new piece of glass in and whack it up there. I don't know what they do about the curved glass. I've got a feeling that that's a special order. But they probably keep a stock of them somewhere for the times when they're vandalised. Now, most of the gas lights in London are on timers now, the working ones, but this one behind me is actually on 24/7. It burns away all the time, and you might think that's a terrible waste of gas. And the reason it does burn 24/7 is because it's the only remaining example of a sewer gas destructor lamp. In other words, this lamp is running entirely on the gas, the methane that is coming up from the sewers. Obviously, there's methane building up. There are dangerous gases, explosive gases building up in sewers, and they have to be vented. So what they've done here, and what they had all over the place, was these lights, these beautiful lights, which actually just burn all the time the sewer gas, and that takes it away safely. So that will always be going, and it's a shame it's the only one left, really. Hello, sir. Hello. So I just met this fella in the street. What's your name, my friend?
Joe.
Joe. Hiya, Joe. And he went, Skill Builder. Where are you going? You off from work?
Pub.
You fish? Oh, are you? Good man. Good idea. What, the one round the corner there?
There's one here somewhere.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
Germans.
Good on you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, and you, yeah. Cheers, thanks. Lovely, thank you.
Cheers.
There he is, the much maligned Winston Churchill. Get it all the day now, people telling me about what a bad man he was. Before they lit the streets with gas lights, they actually used oil lamps, and people had to have an oil lamp outside their house. On certain routes, people had to, by law, light the outside of their house for a few hours in the evening, specific hours, just to allow people to get home safely. And that was a kind of civic responsibility. If you failed to light your lamp and the lamp inspector came around and caught you, you could be fined 1 shilling, which is a lot of money in those days. It's a lot of money these days, according to me. I never get used to modern prices. When I started work, I got £4 a week, and I gave £2 a week to my mum. I never get used to paying £4 or £5 for a cup of coffee. And if you think that this dark alleyway is familiar, then it's probably because you've seen it in a Harry Potter film. If you think you know where it is, let us know in the comments. So this gives you some indication of what London was like when it was lit solely by gas lights. A little bit gloomy, a little bit dangerous, a little bit intimidating. In 1878, electric street lights were introduced. Boo! And then the Thames embankment was lit up by electricity. And actually the first street to be lit by electricity was Electric Avenue in Brixton. The clue's in the name. And after that, there really was no looking back. It was electricity all day long. These are actually LEDs made to look like gas lights. They look pretty good actually. So this is the Gaslight Club. The light has been changed for an electric lamp. Sacrilege. And now, after all the progress to make our wonderful city light, bright and welcoming, we now have a light pollution problem. And there are people who are now campaigning to switch all these lovely lights off.
Roger has been captured by the dark side. He will not be released until you press this button.